Hi there, my name's Gemma and I'm the course team leader for A-Level Business Studies at Long Road Sixth Form College. I'm hopefully going to tell you all you need to know about studying business studies at Long Road. The course that we study is the EDUCAS exam board. That's EDUQAS, EDUCAS. A-Level Business is a 2-year course. There are 3 exams involved and they're all taken at the end of the second year. Students do not have to have sat GCSE Business Studies to take the A-Level course. I'm going to now tell you a bit about the content that we cover in the A-Level. So it's split into 3 components. Component 1 is what we look at in year 1. That's called Business Opportunities and Business Functions. So the first part, Business Opportunities, is essentially focused around new startup businesses and SMEs, that's small to medium-sized enterprises. And students really focus on what it takes for businesses to get started. So we look at everything from business plans, location, legal structures of businesses, so sole traders, partnerships and companies. We look at market research and decisions businesses take in deciding where to locate. The second part, Business Functions, looks at 4 key functional areas. In this part of the component, we look at a bit more broader context. So we're looking at new businesses, well-established businesses, small businesses and large businesses. And we focus on how finance, marketing, HR and operations departments function in those different contexts. In the second year, we look at component 2 and component 3. So component 2 is called Business Analysis and Strategy. Kind of quite self-explanatory, in fact, business analysis and strategy. In this component, students are required to do quite a lot of analysis of both quantitative and qualitative data. And using that information, students are then required to give reasoned judgments on why businesses would take certain courses of actions or why they wouldn't take certain courses of actions given certain circumstances. So one past paper question, for example, looks at how incomes change over a 20 to 30 year period and how the car industry would react to changing incomes. Just to give you an example of what I mean by the sort of data interpretation and how that information would be used. The third component then, which is business in a changing world, again, it's quite self-explanatory here. We're looking at how businesses operate in an ever-changing and ever-dynamic environment, both here in the UK and globally. Obviously, there's so much to talk about in this kind of component, given our current situation with coronavirus and over the past few years with Brexit. So within this component, students are very much required to and encouraged to read around the subject, look at business in the real world, look at the news, and bring that into lessons so that we can have really juicy, meaningful conversations. One of my favourite things about business studies is how we can apply what we're learning into the real world. Myself and the other teachers in the department do that across all 3 components, but we get the opportunity to do that more so in component 3. It's a really, really interesting component for us to look at. Like I said, the EDUCAS exam board, that's EDUQAS. If you go onto their website, you can find a lot more information about the content involved in component 1, 2 and 3, especially for any students that maybe have done GCSE business. You'll recognise some of those topic areas that we look at in year 1. So it might just give you a bit of an idea looking at component 1 on the specification, what we go into in more detail and the type of topics that maybe we do look at GCSE and how we develop that a bit further in the first year. So just to talk a little bit about the exams then, there are 3 exams. Obviously you might expect those to cover component 1, 2 and 3, and you would be correct. So component 1 paper covers the component 1 content, so that's all of year 1. Component 2 covers content from Component 2, which is sort of the first 2/3 of the second year. And the Component 3 paper is actually a synoptic exam. So what that means is you will only be examined on the Component 3 content in that third and final paper. However, you could actually be asked on absolutely anything from your 2 years. So that's why we call it a synoptic or a holistic exam. The 3 exams are 2 hours and 15 minutes long, and each are worth 80 marks. So some of you may have had, you may get some experience answering or sitting exams that are quite long, but this is certainly something really to think critically about. Are you the type of person that performs well in exams, or do you prefer maybe courses that have coursework options? And I will talk to you a bit more detail about that in a minute. I wanted to just highlight on the back of the exams that students sit the assessment objectives that we cover. At GCSE, you might recognise some of these: AO1, knowledge; AO2, application; AO3, analysis; and AO4, evaluation. I've got a table here that shows the breakdown of the assessment objectives and how they are assessed in the 3 exams. But what this does show you a little bit is how the skills are developed through the 3 exams and through the 3 components. So you'll see the first component is very much knowledge application based. Component 2, there is a massive focus on application. And I do want to point out actually that within that particular component, don't underestimate the amount of math skills required in A-level business, particularly in that component 2. Students might be a bit surprised at how much calculation work that we do. So I just want to sort of bring that to your attention, something for you to bear in mind when you're making your decisions about your courses, that whilst it's a business studies course, we do obviously work with numbers there. And in component 3, the emphasis is very much on analysis and evaluation. So students work through the 2 years on these skills. And it really is a step up from GCSE. A-levels are certainly not to be underestimated. We do provide a lot of support for students in terms of subject support lessons. So these are sessions outside of your normal classes. Your normal classes, you have 3 periods a week. Lessons are 1 hour, 30 minutes long. We have dedicated support sessions alongside that where we can ask students to come along to, or students can voluntarily join those sessions to help work especially on exam skills, because I do know some students struggle with that step up from GCSE to A-level, but we do provide a lot of support for our students and help bridging that gap. So I did say before about really considering the nature of A-level business studies, in that you will be required to sit 3 2-hour 15-minute exams that's going to judge you as a business student. Some students don't do well in exams, and some students don't. Exams aren't a way for them to show their true and full capabilities. So that's why I wanted to just talk to you a bit about the applied business course that we have. The applied business course is mainly coursework. There is some examined element to that, but it is an option there for students who maybe prefer to do chunks of work throughout the 2 years, submit that, get it graded, have work moderated by the exam board, and have feedback on that, so you know essentially what kind of grade you're working at during that 2-year program in applied business. Whereas A-level business, once we do have key assessment exams, we have 6 in total throughout the 2 years. That's 4 in the first year and 2 in the second year. The teachers themselves set those exams and mark those exams. They're very rigorous exams, and they help us to get an idea of where students are in their learning, but we ultimately won't know how students do until those 3 exams. So I'm putting it to you, do you think that you perform best in exams, or do you find that exams don't allow you to shine fully and to show your true capabilities and full capabilities? In which case you might want to have a little look at the applied business course just to explore that as an option in terms of coursework. Just one other thing to point out, with A-level business you get 1 qualification at the end of that course. With applied business we have 2 options within that course. The first option is where you study what we call a 60 credit course, which is the equivalent of 1 exam, or the equivalent of 1 A-level, or the 180 credit course, which is the equivalent of 3 A-levels. So if you did the 180 applied course, you would only be studying business studies. Just to sort of develop and talk a little bit on sort of course combinations and what our students do at the end of their journey in Long Road. These are 3 students that left us 2 years ago now. Got a bit of information about the courses that they studied at Long Road, and what I would say is that in business studies we do teach students from a really wide variety of course combinations. Quite typically we do have students that study economics alongside business studies and subjects like history and geography, but equally we have a lot of students that study sports diploma, media, applied science, physics, maths. There really is quite a wide spectrum of other courses that students take alongside A-level business. So here we've got Olivia. She studied A-level business, A-level economics and 60 credit ICT, and she's currently studying economics at university. We have our progression week coming up with our year 12 students, and Olivia is very kindly coming along to do a bit of a Q&A session about her experiences at Long Road, her sort of journey through UCAS application and personal statements, and to tell us how she's getting on at university. So I'm really looking forward to hearing from her, and I know our students are really looking forward to that. We've also got Sam here. He studied A-level business and 120 credit sports, and he's currently a football analyst in London. Jamie studied A-level business, 60 credit media and 60 credit ICT, and he is running his own photography business. Just to kind of sort of develop what I'm trying to say here about the kind of course combinations that we have with our business studies students. No matter what a student wants to do with their career, with their future, whether that is going into a medical field, engineering, whether they want to work in film and media, fashion, whether they want to own their own business, whether that be a hairdressers, plumbers, or a corner shop, business studies is applicable in all of those scenarios. So whilst you may leave Long Road and you might pursue, like I say, a medical degree at university, one day you'll be working in a hospital. A hospital is a business. You might pursue a career in the fashion industry. You might pursue a career in creative industries. Whatever way in which you work in those industries, you'll be working for a business or for yourself, setting up your own business. So business studies is an amazing subject that can actually take you and give you skills that you can take with you into whatever career field you choose. Just to talk a little bit more about our extracurricular activities, I've just mentioned our progression week, and we're having some past Long Road students come along and talk about their experiences leaving college, their apprenticeships that they're on. We've got one student joining us to talk about his apprenticeship in accounting, along with Olivia to talk about her economics course at university. But we really do have a wide variety of extracurricular activities in the business department. We work quite closely with a charity called Working Options, and over the past few years they have brought into college some extremely successful business people to talk to our students about their careers and how they got to where they are now. We had this year we had a director from Ella's Kitchen, and we also had one of the co-founders of Rock Face for Men come in and present to our students. We also worked with Vision Path, which is they ran a Dragon's Den style workshop with our students, and they again had industry professionals come in and judge the students on their business ideas, business pitches. We've had local MPs, Lucy Fraser and Heidi Allen, come in to talk to business, economics and politics students, and there was quite a lot of heated debates and discussions in there. We actually this year exclusively had ARM in to talk to our students about the launch of their first chartered management apprenticeship, and they approached us initially and launched it with our students first, and the students got essentially first-hand information on this new chartered management apprenticeship that they're recruiting for currently. And I know some of our students have applied for that. We're obviously hopeful that they'll be awarded a place on that programme. Very exciting. We've had local employers in, Cambridge University Press, NSORS and PwC. They're companies that come back to us again and again because they really love our business studies students, and they want to help them with their futures, and they want to help them get into these industries, and they want our students to work for them. So they do, to be honest, which is obviously fantastic for us. I hope I've been of help to you all, and that I've answered any questions and queries you may have had about A-level business studies at Longroad Sixth Form College. And I hope to welcome you in our new academic year. Thanks.